Again and again, we hear that women still earn less than men, but some new data is telling a different story. In a 2010 study of single women between 22 and 30 with no children, researchers discovered women earned an average of 8% more than their male counterparts. So is the idea of the gender wage gap a myth? Carrie Lukas is the executive director of the Independent Women's Forum, the organization that conducted the study. Good morning to you, Carrie.
Good morning. Thanks so much for having me on.
You know, I'm not really stunned by that finding because we've been hearing for years that young women are getting more education than men, that they're doing better in college. So it doesn't surprise me that in that young age bracket, before they have children or before they get married, that they're out earning men. Did it surprise you?
No, not at all. I think you're right. What we see is there's a very educated female populace coming up, that women are getting more degrees than men are. So it's no surprise that women's earnings are getting higher in that younger age set. What I really think that the main, the thing that people should take away from this, and I think what's the really good news for women, is that there isn't a system that's out to get you.
Finally, a woman with a brain. Patriarchy doesn't exist, and if it did, it would crush feminism and SJW cunts in a second.
Women aren't earning 3/4 of what men are earning for equal work. There's a bunch of different statistics and factors that affect how much you earn, and so when you start controlling for these, it shows that women have every opportunity to make as much money as men if they make the same choices that men make.
Yeah, bitch!
Well, it's interesting because we've heard for years that women make 77 cents to the dollar that a man makes for the exact same job. Take, for example, if you're an OBGYN. And many women scratch their heads and say, well, why would that be? I have the same amount of education. Maybe I even did better in college. What did you find?
It's fucking easy. Men work more hours. They search for better paying jobs, and often accept jobs that are not fit for women, such as driving trucks, working in the mines, and working away from family.
Well, absolutely. This is not, the 77 cents on a dollar is not comparing people in the same jobs, working the same hours with the same education. That statistic, which is repeated so often, just compares full-time working women to full-time working men. But what you see is that there's men and women do very different things, have very different jobs. Even full-time working, even women who are considered working full-time tend to spend less time on the job than men do. Mm-hmm. And it shouldn't surprise anybody that somebody who works an extra hour a day makes more money than someone who works less time. And It's all those factors. So it's just, I think it's great news for women.
Well, kind of. When you look at how many women are actually CEOs of companies, it's still only 3% of the population. So there seems to be that fall off of women. I mean, it's one thing to say that women are outpacing men until they're 30 years old, but then when they get married and they have children, then they don't tend to get to those higher level jobs. And
this is
great
to the banter.
Of being
it really is.
Oh shit, is the blonde bimbo cunt trying to outcunt the smart chick?
But I think that a lot of women know, I ask women out there to think about it. Has maximizing your income always been your top priority? For a lot of women, that's simply not what drives them into the workforce. A lot of women say, I want to be able to be at home when my kids get home at 4 o'clock. I want to know that I don't have to travel and be away from my kids at night.
Oh good. The smart chick held her ground and won the cunt off. Good game, cunts.
Absolutely, but we should remember that men aren't all. There's often this myth that the jobs men take on are glamorous and that's why they're paid so much more. But in fact, a lot of men are doing really hard, sometimes distasteful jobs. They're working in sewers. They're driving all night through in trucks, trying to make more money for their families. It's no surprise that they end up making more for some of the hard and difficult jobs that they'll take on.
Right. Very interesting perspective. Carrie Lukas, the executive director of the Independent Women's Forum. Thanks for bringing that to our attention.
Great. Thank you.
If you play your cards right, everything's gonna be alright.
And now you gentle MGTOWs have an important task. Smash that like button and subscribe.